There are three kinds of men. The first guy never flirts. He thinks he's being respectful. He nods, he smiles, he listens. She laughs politely and calls him sweet. His heart sinks when she drops the word friend, like a silent grenade. Boom. Game over. The second guy tries too hard. He throws compliments like darts, hoping one sticks. He mirrors her words. He laughs too loud. He nods too fast. She senses the neediness crawling off of him, and suddenly she's checking her phone, looking for the nearest exit. And then there's the third guy. He barely says anything, but everything about him says, I get it. He teases without being rude. He stares without apologizing. He makes her feel like the chase is mutual and exciting. She remembers him long after the night ends. So which one are you? Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to stop being forgettable, stop being needy, and start flirting like a man who owns the room. Let's kill the biggest lie first. That flirting is some mysterious talent you either have or you don't. That it's something you're born with, like height or abs. That if you're not some smooth-talking natural, you're doomed to either die alone or fake confidence until you collapse. The truth? Flirting is just calibrated tension. That's it. It's not about lines. It's not about tricks. It's not about pretending to be someone else. It's about sending one clear signal. I'm attracted to you, but I don't need you. That signal? That's what 99% of guys screw up. Let me show you. Imagine you're at a bar. A woman walks by and you say, hey, where are you from? She says, Melbourne. You smile. Australia? Wow. I heard it's dangerous. Snakes, spiders, drop bears. She laughs. You nod. So, why'd you move? Now stop right there. That's the moment everything dies. Because even if you made her laugh, even if she's enjoying the conversation, there's no heat, no direction, no signal. You're playing ping pong with words. She doesn't feel tension. She doesn't feel wanted. She doesn't feel anything. And if a woman doesn't feel, she forgets. See, flirting isn't information exchange. It's emotional voltage. It's when you lean in close, not to be creepy, but to let her feel the gravity of your voice. It's when your eyes pause just a second longer on her lips. Not because you're drooling, but because you're choosing not to act on the impulse. Yet, it's when you say, careful, keep talking like that, and I might think you're flirting with me. It's the tension of almost touching, almost admitting, almost kissing, but pulling back just in time. That moment between heat and hesitation, that's where flirting lives. The biggest mistake guys make? They rush it. They strip the mystery. They say, you're so hot. They say, can I get your number? They say, I really like you. They lay all their cards down at once, thinking it'll win her over. It doesn't. It makes her feel like the prize, like she just showed up and already won. You think that makes her attracted. It makes her bored. Look, if a woman knows your entire game in the first minute, the game's over. Flirting isn't broadcasting your interest. It's hinting at it, suggesting it, letting her wonder, letting her earn certainty. So instead of saying, you look great in that dress, we say, that color almost makes you look innocent. Instead of asking, want to come back to my place? Say, I have this ridiculous coffee table. You'll either love it or hate it. Let's, settle this. She knows what's happening. But now she has a story to tell herself. A justification. A deniability. She didn't go home with a guy. She just went to see a coffee table. You gave her a way out. A psychological escape hatch. And that's everything. Because while men seek permission, women seek plausibility. If she can rationalize her choices, she feels safe. She stays in control. And guess what? That's when she actually lets go. There's another mistake you keep making, and it's not even your fault. You've been conditioned to play it safe, conditioned to avoid discomfort, conditioned to treat flirting like a job interview where the goal is not to offend. You've been told that teasing is mean, that confidence is arrogance, that attraction should be polite. So what do? You smile too much. You agree too fast. You listen attentively without ever interrupting or challenging her. And in doing so, you disappear. You become invisible. Because she's not looking for a man who plays defense. She's looking for a man who creates friction. And that friction, that comes from knowing how to ride the line between play and provocation. It comes from the art of saying something with a double edge, something that tickles and stings at the same time. She says, I love massages. You look at her and say, you think that's going to work on me? She laughs, confused. You follow up. You're trying to use your little tricks. I get it. You're dangerous. See what just happened? You took control of the frame. In most interactions, you're the one chasing. She's the gatekeeper. She's the prize. But when you flip the script, when you frame her as the seducer and yourself as the one resisting temptation, it rewires the dynamic in her brain. Suddenly, you're the scarce resource. You're the one she wants to win over. That's the essence of flirting, frame control. It's not about asking for validation. It's about acting like you're already validated, that you don't need her approval. Because you live in a world where women compete for your attention. Is it arrogant? Maybe. Is it fake? Not if you commit. Is it effective? Always. Women don't fall for men they pity. They fall for men they admire, and admire in a way that's laced with curiosity and challenge. That's why you need to stop trying to prove yourself. Stop trying to be agreeable. Stop trying to be perfect. Be a little dangerous. Let me tell you something most dating coaches won't. Women are desperate to be flirted with. By the right man. Not the nice guy who compliments their shoes. Not the creep who stares at their chest. But the rare man who can make them feel sexy, seen, and challenged. All at once. Most guys walk on eggshells. You need to walk with fire. But fire without control is chaos. That's why you learn to flirt with restraint. Flirt with rhythm. Which brings me to the most powerful technique you're probably not using. Push-pull. Push-pull is emotional alchemy. It's when you create tension by leaning in and stepping back, by validating and negating, by giving and then teasingly taking away. She says, I bet you tell that to all the girls. You say, only the ones who can handle it. So, maybe not you. Now she's unsure, but intrigued. She says, you're trouble. You smirk. I told you not to talk to me. Now you've made her feel something. Tension, uncertainty, excitement. Here's the truth. If there's no tension, there's no attraction. And flirting is how you manufacture that tension. With cheesy pickup lines. Not with fake negging, but with calibrated confidence. Confidence that comes from knowing you're the man, and you're not afraid to let her wonder what it would feel like to be wanted by you, to be seen by you, to be chosen by you. That's the ultimate flirt, making her feel like she's winning you. But let's be brutally honest for a second. You don't flirt like that, because deep down, you don't believe you're worth being chased. You think you need to impress her, win her, convince her. So you overcompensate. You act overly nice. You try to make her laugh. You throw out compliments like bait. But she feels it. Women feel it. They feel when your interest is a performance. They feel when your confidence is a mask. And they lose interest. Not because you're not attractive, but because you're signaling that you don't believe you are. Here's what most men never hear. You don't need to be rich, tall, or jacked to flirt well. But you do need to flirt from belief. Belief that you are enough. Belief that your presence is already valuable. When you flirt from lack, you chase. When you flirt from belief, you attract. Let me show you what belief sounds like. She says, are you always this confident? You look her dead in the eyes. No, I'm just not nervous around you. She says, I bet you say that to all the girls. You lean back. Only the ones who try this hard. You're not trying to prove anything. You're playing. That's the difference. That's the entire damn difference. Flirting isn't some mechanical game. It's play. And the best kind of play is seductive. Flirting is what happens when a man lets go of outcome. Because flirting with outcome in mind, trying to get her number, trying to get her to bed, trying to get her to like you, will always ruin the vibe. Always. That's why women love flirting with men who don't need it to go anywhere. It's freedom. And when a woman feels emotionally free around you, she leans in. She opens up. She follows. So, what's stopping you? The fear of being rejected? That fear is fake. When a woman isn't interested, you haven't lost anything. You've just been spared wasting time. The fear of being awkward? That's also fake. Flirting is awkward. It's meant to be messy. Tension, remember? Imperfection is part of the charm. The only real fear you should have is this, being forgotten. Because if you keep flirting like a man who's afraid, who plays it safe, who waits for permission to be bold, you will be forgotten. You'll leave no mark, no spark, no memory. But if you flirt like a man who knows his worth, who embraces tension, who plays instead of persuades, she'll remember you, even if it doesn't go anywhere. And sometimes that memory, that's what pulls her back later. So don't flirt to win her. Flirt to reveal you. Because the real you, when you're unafraid, unfiltered, unapologetically curious, is more magnetic than any script. You just need to get out of your own way. Let me tell you something most guys never even consider. The most powerful flirt is the one who's already whole, not the guy searching for approval, not the guy trying to impress, not the guy hoping to get something from her. The most magnetic man in any room is the one who looks like he's already got everything he needs, but he still chooses to talk to her. And that's what women crave more than anything. Not compliments, not corny jokes, not validation. They crave that moment when a man looks at them, not with need, but with choice. Like, yeah, you're gorgeous. So what else you got? Like, you're hot, but I'm not just here for that. Can you keep up? Like, you're not the first woman I've met, but maybe you'll be the one I remember. That's not arrogance. That's presence. And it only happens when you stop treating women like puzzles to solve and start treating them like equals in a game you both enjoy. That's what flirting really is. A game. A dance. A battle of tension. The moment you try to control the outcome, you lose. The moment you try to be liked, you blend in. The moment you chase, she runs. But the moment you relax into your power, when you let go of needing anything from her, when you flirt like you've got nothing to prove, she feels that. Because most guys are either too afraid to flirt at all, or they flirt like it's a mission, not a moment. You want to stand out? You want to be unforgettable? Stop seeking, start leading, and for the love of God, stop being safe. You say, but I don't want to offend her. Good. Don't be a creep. Don't be a jerk. But don't be invisible either. If you're never misunderstood, you're not saying anything worth remembering. Flirting is not about saying the perfect thing. It's about saying something that makes her feel. And sometimes that feeling is curiosity. Sometimes it's playful frustration. Sometimes it's amusement, confusion, even a little tension. Good. That's where connection starts. She doesn't want you to be perfect. She wants to feel something. Real? So stop playing to not lose. Start flirting to play. Push and pull. Tease and pause. Compliment and challenge. Let her chase the edge of your attention. Let her feel like she's earned your curiosity. And above all, make her feel like if she walked away from this conversation, she'd regret it. Because that's what unforgettable flirting does. It makes her wonder what it would be like to stay. You ever notice how women can flirt without saying a single damn word? A glance, a smirk, a slow turn of the wrist. She doesn't need pickup lines. She doesn't need a game plan. She just exists, and it draws men in like a magnet. So, what does that tell you? That flirting isn't about words. It's about energy. The way you look at her when she enters the room. The timing of your smile. Not too eager, not too late. The stillness in your body when every other guy is fidgeting, twitching, and hoping to be noticed. You don't speak first. You feel first. You calibrate the room. You own the space. The guy who flirts well isn't the guy who talks the most. He's the one who anchors the moment. Because energy doesn't lie. You can memorize all the lines you want. You can watch every dating video on YouTube. But if you walk into the room looking like a man hoping to get lucky, she'll feel it. And the second she feels that you're seeking something from her, the attraction dies. But if you walk in like a man who doesn't need her, but is still curious about her, now she's wondering why you're different. Because most guys make her feel like a queen by default, but you treat her like a mystery that hasn't earned its ending yet. You see her, but you don't pedestal her. You flirt with her, but you don't orbit her. You invite her, but you never chase. That's the difference between flirting and pleading. You flirt when you're already full. You plead when you're secretly empty. And when you flirt from fullness, when your cup is already overflowing, your words become lighter. Your teasing becomes bolder, and your presence becomes irresistible. Because now you're not afraid to lose her, and that's what makes her want to stay. You're no longer performing for her validation. You're just being, and she can feel the stability in that. Flirting from that place, calm, grounded, and playful, is like standing in a storm and smiling. It tells her everything she needs to know. You're not here to impress. You're here to see her. And maybe, just maybe, let her earn seeing you too.